Welcome to our consummate agents and investors nationwide. Today is Thursday, March 10th, 2022, and this is All the Leads Mastermind podcast number 369. Tim and Chuck, anything you would like to share? We do have two in the queue now. Thank you for that. Before we get started, anything you want to share with the group?
Chuck, anything, buddy?
Yeah, my initial thoughts were to kind of just give the overview and the breakdown of once you're anticipating, setting up a particular probate business. I mean, just to kind of give the highlights of how we approach things here at All the Leads. Can I take a couple minutes to dig into that?
Yes, sir. Please do.
I think that's a great idea, as long as we kind of keep it short and let's not keep our people waiting online too long. But go for it, bud.
Yep. No problem. So, when we look at this, and a couple weeks ago, Bruce and I kind of talked back and forth that there is a little bit of, there's a need to seed the market. So if you're considering whether or not adding probate specifically or pre-probate specifically to your business as a lead source, one of the things to consider is that there is some time, there is a runway to be up and running with a consistently producing business. Now, there's two different ways that we want to be able to get into conversations with folks that are decision makers on what to do with a house that may be in an estate. And we're either going to get into that conversation by sending them direct mail consistently, to inspire them to reach out to us, to call us to have that conversation, or we're going to implement a cold prospecting campaign by picking up the phone and consistently dialing and reaching out to have these conversations. And, because we want to basically take that initiative, say, hey, this is what we do. This is how we can help. Where are you in the process? Have you considered selling the house? Let's have a conversation because I can help. And we also, in those conversations, we're leading with that helping hand. We want to identify, us as let's call it similar to a concierge service, or I think Bruce uses the term many times as an estate management service, because, basically being an executor or a personal representative of an estate, many people wouldn't wish that on their worst enemy. So there's definitely obstacles that come up in that entire process. So for us to be able to build our network of professional referral partners and be able to set that up, that's the initial offering. Ultimately, what we're looking to do is either purchase the house or help them list and sell that. But by providing the value and connecting them with other service providers to help them overcome the obstacles they're facing in the probate process, that's where you really bring value. So we lead with value. We lead with value not only in our conversations, but also in our direct mail. Now, if we're setting up what I would consider a full marketing campaign, that would be roughly 8 to 12 direct mail pieces over 6 to 7 months, as well as a consistent call campaign, which is calling through your list for 6 months. And, so if you look at the volume of what those calls are going to be, that's going to be stacking 6 months worth of list data on top of each other. So depending on the size of the number of probate leads that come in your particular county, it could be, thousands of dials every month, and it can be a significant, marketing load for direct mail. Now, if you don't specifically have that budget, we always recommend that you tee things up with the direct mail campaigns. And Tim, I think you and Bruce are still working on those direct mail packages that we recommend the different pieces in order. But that's definitely what we offer here at All the Leads, is the ability to customize a solution specific to your local market and based on your budget and where you are when you're there, so we can help you grow and scale to make this a a consistent lead generator and business flow for you in your business. One of the things is
just one thing. What we're doing now is we're creating them when people need that. We're creating them custom to their market. And you're right. The reason that Bruce is in the air right now is that's part of the reason we had him in here. We're working on some of those programs, but we're already in process with multiple people with multi-stop direct mail campaigns, including letters and postcards with several people on pre-probate and probate. So for sure, they're ready. The MISs are more than capable of setting them up for them.
Oh, gotcha. Very good. And, we have subscribers. We have successful investors and agents that are primarily focused on a marketing approach with direct mail. We have others that are primarily focused on call campaigns. So, yes, there are different ways that you can skin this cat and have a successful business focused in probate. The key thing is it's going to take a bit of time and it's going to take consistent effort. So this is not I'll get one list and I'm wildly successful right off of one list. It does take a strategy and a focus to be able to build this into a successful component of your business. And that's what we're here to help you with.
Well said, sir. Yep. Just real quick to add to that, I had a good conversation with one of our subscribers this week who is one thing just to expand on that you said, we are anything but a one-size-fits-all campaign or solution. Matter of fact, I think we're just the opposite. We try to really tailor it to what you're good at and, what you can afford and the time you have, for each individual subscriber. But I had a gentleman this week who started asking him a few questions, and he is a call beast. I mean, he spends 4 or 5 hours every day on the phone. Now, he has a high lead volume in his county, and he just said to me, he said, I think I'm just going to skip the mail and I'll make the calls. And I advise him not to do that for a couple reasons. There are people that will take your mail piece, put it away. They won't save your voicemail. And these leads do season extremely well. So what he and I came up with, instead of an 8-touch campaign, over 2 or 3 months, do a mailing initially and maybe spread the mailings out a little bit. Maybe do it at 1, 3, 5, and 6 months. But, don't completely eliminate the mail just like you wouldn't completely eliminate the call. It's the 1-2 approach that works so well. But if you are a proficient prospector, you may be able to get by with less mail. If you aren't, you're going to have to mail a whole lot more. So it's different for everybody, and that is one of the things. We've got phenomenal coaches. That's why we highly recommend you take advantage of the Foundations program when you get your leads, and reach out to your coaches if you want to customize a campaign just for you. All right, guys. Well, thank you. Good way to start the call. We have 2 in the queue. Plenty of room for more. Hit *6 and hit 1. First up this week is phone number ending in 5992. You're up first.
I'm really enjoying your calls, and it's been a long time since I'm just getting back into it, but I'm just really coming back into it. What I'm doing now, I'm just starting to get all of the brochures, prepping for the mailing campaign, which I actually showed my broker, and he's just very excited. And even with the website that was provided, very, very good information. But my question this week is that as I'm starting to filter through the leads, and I see the do not call on the on the card, do I not call them, or do I actually just call people that do not have that do not call on, or do I just call the lawyer, or who do I actually make a contact for that that client or potential client?
Tim, you want?
Yeah,
Tim, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Do you want to handle that first? Yep.
Yes. So the issue there, the reason that we give you the DNC flag, we scrub it against do not call, and we do that for a reason. We're doing that to keep certainly us out of trouble, because we don't want to give you things to go do and encourage you to do things that are prohibited. And what I encourage everyone to do is to make yourself familiar with the TCPA laws. We actually have a link to that on our site that can take you there. You should read them. And you have to make your own decisions about what you want to go do. The issue that a lot of people fall back to is to say, I'm trying to reach the personal representative of an estate, and that's the person who has the ability to or not to deal with property in the estate. Therefore, I do need to be able to reach them. And some of them err on the side of doing that, and that's up to them to go do. We give you the list. We tell you which ones are not on do not call, and that's kind of our extent of this. What I would definitely encourage you to do is to make sure that you do get your mail out. Anybody who doesn't have the DNC flag set on their phone, make sure you call them. It's important to do that. If you don't want to call them, the other thing that I will tell you that we do is that we have a third-party referral to EVO, and you can send your list over to them and give them whatever instruction you choose to give them in regard to your list, and they can work with you. And, that's kind of as far as we go with this. We make sure that we're not encouraging you to break the law, but I think that's the reason we give you all the phone numbers so you can make your own choices.
Cool, and I thank you very much. And what I'll do is this week for the homework is I'm going to look for that regulation in my state and just keeping it moving. And thank you very much for, you've been a blessing, and I got to just get back into it. And, I really like the system, and I'm going to see if I could actually help individuals. And good work, guys. Thank you.
Well, we appreciate
thank you. And Joe,
you mentioned also that you're going to check your state. TCPA is a national law. However, it is also wise for you to see what your state may have overlaid on that, because there are states that have overlaid a law on top of TCPA that modify it, change it, do all that sort of stuff. So you kind of need to be aware of both, and good for you for saying that.
Thank you very much.
And Joe, I was just going to add, you said, should I call the attorneys? Absolutely. We recommend you call the attorneys whether or not you can reach the executor. The lowest hanging fruit, the people the easiest to, or the most important people to make contact with are the executors. So reach out to them first, but even if you get them all, which is unlikely, you should still reach out to the attorneys, especially the players. If you see an attorney who's got, multiple deals every month, you want to reach out to them. I mean, you guys are in the same space. Hey, you specialize in probate, so do I. And remember, every month, a number of your leads don't have an attorney. So it could be a fair exchange with the attorney. Hey, I run into dozens of people every month that are trying to do it on their own. And I'm sure you run into homeowners that don't have a realtor or an investor. Why don't we refer people back and forth? And if you do see someone who, more than one of their phone numbers, a seller is on the do not call list, and you don't want to call any of them, you certainly could reach out to the attorney, and that would be a good way to start the conversation. Hey, I have a service that helps homeowners, and, I noticed, the Johnsons, their phone numbers are on the do not call. Do you think it'd be okay if I reached out to them, or do you think it'd be okay if you told them I was trying to reach them to help them, with that? There's many different ways that you can get past that, but the attorneys is a good bridge. It can be a real good bridge between the homeowner and yourself.
Thank you very much.
Make sense?
It does.
All right, Chuck, anything?
Thank you.
Go ahead. I'm sorry, Joe.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Anything you want to add to that, Chuck?
No, I think you guys covered it very, very well. I mean, networking is going to be really, really key, so you can kind of come in through the side door and get past the gatekeeper when you're looking to build relationships with attorneys. But we'd be happy to help. If you want to have more in-depth conversation, set up a strategy call. We'd love to help you.
Thank you very much.
And they are free. They are free for our subscribers, so please take advantage. Take advantage of our great coaching. Guys, *6 and hit 1 if you'd like to jump in the queue. There is plenty of room. We got plenty of time. We're here for you, so don't be shy. Next up in the meantime is phone number ending in 0671. You're up next.
Hi, guys. It's Keith, and I just started using your program. I sent out my first round of letters, introduction letter, along with a brochure in the envelope, and I'm getting ready to do my first follow-up. And my question is, should my first follow-up be another letter or a postcard?
Chuck, you want to take that, or?
Yep. I mean, my general preference would be, and I typically, I really like the postcards that we have in the Mailbox Motivator sample library, because they reinforce exactly the value propositions that you provided in the brochure. So having that ability to see that consistent branding 2 times in a row, maybe at a lower cost, that I would recommend that you, if you're going brochure and intro letter in your first envelope, follow that up with the similarly branded and styled postcard, and then you can follow up with, plain letters, etc. on further pieces beyond that. That would be my recommendation.
Okay, thank you.
Anything else, Keith?
That's it. I'm going to get ready
All right.
to back to my salesman and get some postcards put together and sent out.
And don't forget to not only follow up with different types of mail, but follow up with a phone call. It's funny. I had an interesting. What's that?
Most everybody that I've gotten stuff from so far is on the do not call list, except for the attorneys.
Okay. You must be in. What state are you in?
Louisiana.
Okay. Yeah, I would have guessed California, but yeah, it definitely varies for sure. And don't be afraid to go down to that 4th or 5th phone number, or 3rd or 4th phone number if you have to, even though, it may not be directly reaching the people. Sometimes, like Chuck said, you can go in through the back or the side door by reaching, somebody who is related to them, maybe lives at the same address, that type of thing. And Tim, you wanted to add something too? Go ahead.
Yeah, I think that I want to go back to the who to call, not to call, that sort of stuff. I think the thing that is important is that it would be helpful for everyone to understand kind of the whole premise of what's changing in the face of telephone sales and all of that. So here's the reality. The federal government and everybody else and their folks have stepped in and said, people ought to have the ability to have the quiet use of their telephone, use it the way they want to use it, and have it not be constantly ringing from solicitors. And that's the whole premise of the TCPA law, is to keep, otherwise your phone would just consistently ring every 10 seconds, and, everybody's going to be trying to help sell you a new car warranty or, do something that you don't need, whatever the scam of the week is that's running in your market. And, that's what they're trying to protect against. Unfortunately, the scope of the law has gotten significantly larger, and it has basically, it's kind of a hammer to nail in a staple. So, and it's not going to change. I mean, the fact that we can lament it is enough said, but the reality is, if anything, it will probably become even more restrictive as time goes on, because everybody errs on the side of the consumer. And, I don't like it when I get spam calls over and over again, any better than anybody else does, and have all kinds of filtering on my phone and all that. So the reality is, your best shot is to be creative in everything else that you're doing. And, we give you the numbers. If they're open to call, then call them for sure. If you can, find a person on, like they said, is look down the list. They're not all do not calls. Find one that isn't. Try and find a relationship for somebody who says, hey, I'm trying to call so-and-so. Do you have their number? And if they say, yeah, I do it, now you got a reason. Now it's, hey, Joe gave me your phone number, and I can make that call. So make a referential call. That's fine. You got referred by so-and-so, and you're the person who potentially can do something about the property or whatever. If you got something to offer somebody with some help, you're probably going to be okay. blindly calling down your list and calling all the red numbers, you're breaking the law. So that's why I say there has to be judgment, there has to be logic in this to make it work. But definitely get your letters out. That's why we have built such an award-winning department to get that job done for you and to make it easy, and put your program on autopilot, and that way you don't have to worry about it. It goes out every month, and you know this is going to work for you.
Yeah. Okay.
Because you don't want to overthink it. You want to get it in place. You want to set it, see what your results are, and then tweak what you've already done, rather than every time something has to happen, you think, well, what's my next step? What's my next step? Set it up as a direct program, and if it's going to be a 5-touch program, make it a 5-touch program, line it up, and then each and every month it starts executing. So, that's the way to deal with it. Okay?
Okay, thank you.
All right.
All right,
Star
Keith.
6 is 1.
Yep.
Go ahead, Tim.
We do have a new one in the queue, Tim. But yes, star 6 and hit 1, and you can be next. Next up for now is phone number ending in 9525. You're up next.
Hey guys, good afternoon. How you doing?
Hey, Carl, doing great.
Hey, just joined this week, but I've been doing probates for a while just because I've got a good network of attorneys, and I'm a huge cold caller. So, I mean, I have no problem calling, but I do door knock also. What are your take on door knocking, like to the heirs, if they're in my area?
Yeah,
Carl, I think. Go ahead.
Yep.
If you can, this is Tim. If you want to go knock on doors, nobody's going to tell you that's a bad idea. I mean, the reality is, are you talking about approaching PRs on probate, or are you working on pre-probate? Which one are you working?
It would be the PRs. I mean, I've got the pre-probate, but like the PRs is what I'm really looking at.
Right. So I mean, if you've got information on where they are and you want to go do it, there's certainly no law against doing that, unless there's a sign up in the neighborhood that says no solicitation or whatever. But for the most part, realize that person, and you got to kind of keep this in your head, is that the person that's doing that typically is deemed to be one of or the most responsible person in a family. That's how they got the great opportunity to be the PR. It's not a role anybody particularly wants. And typically, most of the people that you're going to be dealing with, you're not going to find them at home until they've finished their job every day. So it's either after work is the time to go do that if you're going to go do it. Doing it in the middle of the day and doing it in the middle of the afternoon, it might be convenient for you. You're unlikely to find anybody there because they're working somewhere. Now, more and more people work from home. That paradigm changes, but just be aware that knocking on doors in a lot of cases is going to not get you necessarily the fruit that you want, but it may in your market. It just kind of depends. But you understand what I'm saying? They're working. Generally, they're working people.
Yeah, no, and I totally agree. And that's, like a lot of my calls are usually after 4 o'clock because that's, you get a better pickup rate. So, yeah, I totally agree on that. And Saturdays are phenomenal.
Sure.
I was just going to say that, like 10 to 1 or 10 to 2 on Saturday. And, Carl, if you're going to do the door knocking, have a good lead behind that you can leave on the door if they don't answer. And, we obviously can help you with those marketing pieces also. One of the most devious but creative campaigns I ever heard of was one of our subscribers a couple of years ago. He took some stickers that looked like the UPS delivery stickers. We missed you. I don't even know if they do that anymore. It seems like everybody leaves everything on the doorstep now. But he just took some stickers he put on the door. Sorry we missed you. Give us a call at the following phone number, without any reference to why he was there. And people thought they missed a package delivery, and everybody would call it back.
That's clever. That's clever, I'll tell you that. Yep.
Yeah. So it depends how far you want. I mean, you can be very straightforward. Hey, I stopped by to see you today and here's why. Or you can be a little bit devious and, maybe do an A/B test and see what works best.
Okay, yeah. I just want to pick your guys' brain, and see what's a good option.
Sure. Chuck, you had a comment?
Yeah, another thing to consider, and it's a philosophy when you're door knocking, and I call it the 6-pack. And so the 6-pack is going to be the subject house, so the person that you're looking to get a hold of, each house on either side, the one directly across, and then the 2 diagonal. So you've got 6 houses, in a particular neighborhood, and having that opportunity, since you're already there, you spent the time, you spent the gas to be there, you can develop, that type of script, when you're door knocking, to knock on the neighbors' doors as well and have a conversation. You can definitely identify the reason you're there, because they're the personal representative and you help people overcome the obstacles in the probate process. But then when you're talking to the neighbors, you still have that real estate specialist in your script. And my goodness, there's been so many people that have done deals by dialing wrong numbers. And when you get in front of somebody, and you have that opportunity to have the conversation, leverage your time and your energy to be there in and around the neighborhood. You can ask the neighbors, what would be a great time for me to catch, Mary Jo or Johnny Smith at home, because I'm offering some free help to make sure that they can get their nights and their weekends back from having to deal with this particular estate. And that's what you do. And they may give you a referral over to somebody else that's on your list, because it's funny how small this world is and the connections that people have. So think of that as an additional opportunity to leverage your time and energy when you're out on the street.
Yeah, no, Chuck, I totally see the value in that. I'm an old Mike Ferry guy. That's where I cut my teeth on, door knocking and cold calling.
You will do very well, Carl. Keep that same work ethic and that same mindset. And Chuck, you reminded me of that process has worked so well for me over the years investing. I'll see a house, it's been 2 or 3 years now, but there was one in my neighborhood where the grass was grown up almost to the roof, and I did all the skip tracing, couldn't find the people. Just went and knocked on the neighbor's door to one side and said, "Boy, that house is a mess next door. You have any idea how I can contact the owner?" They said, "Oh yeah, she moved to Boca 2 years ago. The house is free and clear. There's city liens on it. Hang on a minute. Here's her phone number." So you're right. The neighbors will usually know.
Okay.
And that applies to investing as well as trying to help executors. So yeah, that's a great point.
That brings up an additional.
That happened to me a couple weeks ago. Exact scenario.
Yep.
Yeah. So if you run your list through Property Plus and you identify what are the properties that the decedent owned in your market, then you have the opportunity to do exactly what Jim just said, and you can go to the neighbors of the decedent's house and have those types of conversations. And that scenario could play out again directly and get introduced to a personal representative that has a red star next to their name. So warm introductions and being connected to people, that's how being savvy and getting out there and really going after it makes you successful.
Well, I appreciate all your advice, and I'm going to lean on you guys big time.
You'll do very well, Carl. Welcome. Keep up that work ethic and that prospecting. And if you're not afraid to get on the phone, man, you're gonna kill it with this niche. So we appreciate you. You're the last one in the queue for now. Anything else we can help you with, or are you good for now?
No, I'm just listening to a lot of the archives and just trying to absorb as much information. Like I said, I've done a lot of probate before, but it was only because of word of mouth. Now I'm doing it, strategically, so to speak. Yep.
Excellent. We appreciate it. Guys, we got a good turnout this week. Everybody must have realized Bruce is here, so they're being shy. I'm not sure, but we have no one else in the queue. We'll give you a minute or two to sign in. If we don't get anybody else, we'll wrap it up just a bit early this week. Again, just hit *6 and hit 1. We always are looking for the win of the week. If you've had any success lately, we'd like to hear about it. We'll give you a discount on your next set of leads. We're looking for the idea of the week. It doesn't necessarily have to be probate related, but what are you doing in this insanely strong seller's market to get listings? We'd like to hear that from you. And if any of you have testimonials, and if you're listening to this as a recording later, and you don't, you're not on the call, any testimonials like that you have, please contact customer service. We'll document it, and we'll give you a really nice bonus, either some extra leads or a discount on your next set of leads. So
Hey,
I
Jim,
guess this is going to be last. Go ahead.
Jim,
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Down,
Yep.
okay, before you close down, I just wanted to add a couple of things, and then I think we can call it a day. I mentioned that Bruce had been here, and Bruce is flying home. We had Bruce here at the home office for the first part of this week, and the purpose in having him here is we literally are going through every step in our flow and process, and trying to make sure that we're doing the best job we can to get everybody rolling in the right direction. And what we've decided, and we've known this for a long, long time, is that if we can get subscribers started right and keep them rolling in the right direction for the first 90 days, they'll start seeing some results. Almost everybody is successful within that time frame to some extent. And, some of them are successful overnight. Some of them, we've heard the last 2 calls. I just sent my letters out, got my first 2 calls back. Gal was on last week. She just sent her letters out. She already had 2 listing appointments. So it definitely happens. And we have people who, have sent my letters out twice in a row, haven't gotten any feedback from anybody yet, yada, yada, yada. So it just varies by, time, market, all of those things. But the other thing that we're doing is that we're investing substantially in looking into our training process and offering you far more than just focusing on nothing but probate. We're taking a pretty holistic view to your overall business and realizing that helping you make probate a pillar in that business works out great. We've introduced pre-probate. We know that's in the market now. We've got some significant other tricks up our sleeve, and we want to make sure that we're preparing you to be successful in any part of the business that you're working in and helping you build multiple pillars so that basically you're just feeding all month long on leads that are coming in the door. So that's what we've been doing. We've been revamping our approach to training and education, and we're going to be offering, as usual, a whole lot more for free and some advanced level training that we hadn't offered before. So stick around. It's just going to continue to get better. And Jim, as usual, whenever we're ready to go, we finally get somebody else to hop in there. So go ahead and take the next one.
Yeah, it's like at a bar, last call for alcohol, you get a line that forms, so that's a good thing. Next up in the queue is Winston Covington III. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing well. That actually is true. I am the third there. But good morning, guys, from Southern California. What I have was a question that I wanted to ask last time from the March 3rd session, and you guys were talking about wasn't really a hard money lender. I don't think I call it a soft money lender, but I wanted to get the name correct because I would like to pursue some of these as an investor as well. I think it was NavCam or something close to NavCam. If you could give us that name again.
Yep. They are a highly valued affiliate of ours. It's Navigator Capital, and their website is gonavcap.com. So GONAVCAP.com. gonavcap.com. And to be honest with you, man, when I was back in the good old days, or it depends how you look at it, before the crash, it was the good old days. But when I was flipping 3 to 5 a month, I wish I had somebody like them. I used to pay anywhere from 12 to 15% interest and 1 to 3 points, for hard money. These guys are a national, they're everywhere, but a few, I think they are not in Arizona and Utah. There's a couple western states they're not in, but they're in about 47 of the 50 states. You can actually go navcap.com. You can fill out, it's like a 5-question pre-application, and like within 5 minutes they get back to you with a pre-approval, and they'll tell you the terms of the loan and everything. They're phenomenally efficient to deal with. But what I love about it is you're looking at anywhere from 6 to 8%, maybe 8.5% for hard money. which is really reasonable, and they'll lend up to 90% if the deal makes sense. And I will tell you, though, their barometer on what they charge you is your experience. They like to see, you don't have to have a lot of investment experience, but if you don't, the loan to value is going to go down and the interest rate is going to go up. If they like to see that you've done at least 3 deals in the last 3 years, and they'll ask you for the addresses of the deals you've done. But if you're seasoned at all as an investor, you're probably going to be on the low side of that interest rate, like the 6-7%. And they actually have long-term loans too. I mean, there's sometimes when I've considered just the hassle of getting a mortgage. What are interest rates up to now? 3 3.75? Are they coming up on 4? I'm not even sure. But sometimes the hassle, even on a long-term loan, it might be worth it to pay a couple points more and, not have the hassle of having to go through qualifying. So we recommend them highly. Make sure you tell them that you came from us, and they're very good. They're very efficient. I've heard nothing but really good reviews from our subscribers that have used them. Is that pretty much answer your question?
You did answer my question and then some, but just for clarification again, that was Navigator Capital at gonavcap.com.
Correct. Their website is www.GONAV, like nice, awful victory. That's a bad acronym. And C, like, a baseball cap. gonavcap.com.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Well, you are the last person in the queue. I do not see any. Oh, Carl's back. Premature. Let's see if Carl, we will close with you this week. Carl's back in the queue. Go ahead, sir. You're back.
Just a quick question, and you may have covered this on previous calls, but is there a company you use for skip tracing?
Yeah, us.
Go ahead, Tim. Yeah, we do that actually, and I've never seen anybody as good as us at it, honestly, because we use multiple sources. Now, Tim, you want to elaborate on that at all, or just if they're interested, just go to.
I'm assuming, Carl, you're talking about leads that you get elsewhere. Is that right?
Well, just like I'm with the pre-probates and all that, it's like I don't know what I'm going to be getting because I haven't gotten a list yet. So, like, if I have to drill down a little bit more on them to see where they live, not just phone numbers.
Nah, you're good to go, bud. We give you all the info you need.
Oh, okay. All righty.
Yeah, that's the value of our program. We do everything we can to give you good contactability on everybody we give you. So you should be good to go.
All right. Thank you.
All righty.
All right, everyone. Well, thank you so much. I want to thank each and every one of you for being here. I want to particularly thank those who actively participated. I want to challenge each of you, take one thought, one idea, one thing that inspired you on this call, go out and put it into practice, and please come back next Thursday and share your results with the group. Have a great week, everybody. We will talk to you same time next Thursday.